Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning for me. Anybody, or anyway, who knows what time it is as you listen to this or watch this. This Encaustic Quickie takes me out of the third floor and brings me down to the teaching studio on the first floor to show you an Encaustic Quickie image transfer. Just because. Well, mostly because it's, I think, 90 degrees up there and I don't have the air on. So I'll be working on that series and coming back to you from up there again this weekend when it knocks back down to 80 outside. So therefore much cooler in the house. Anyway, on to transfers. Now, a lot of you may have seen these. They're in my books. A lot of demos on them on YouTube. Every workshop ever created in Encaustic. This is one of the core techniques. But I wanted to show you because I feel like I've personalized it a little bit, and that's important to me anymore in all of my work, to get a sense of myself rather than a stock image or even a photograph, which is why I began in Encaustic, in all truth, is to get some of my photographs and some blueprints, landscape designs into work, which were more commonplace and generalized, and I want to bring more of an internal, personal sense to my work. Yes, the door's open. It's not yet 90 in outside. I'm letting the cool air come through. All right. So what I'm using here are these are images I sat and kind of meditatively created with a Sharpie on a piece of paper. I have many sheets of these, just different marks that I chose to make across sheets of paper. Then I took them to the coffee shop and made some toner-based images of them. So I have all these in stock. Whenever my heart desires, I can turn to them and choose among the selection to make my choice for my work and see what resonates. These little bundles are what I've been working on a lot lately, are the compacted, pressed together corrugated cardboard. I call them handhelds. These are a little bit larger. They're still handheld, but the handhelds I made and will share at Encaustic Camp this year, later this month, are even smaller, meant to hold in the palm of your hand, even wrap your fingers around and hold tightly. More on that later, maybe, or it's shown up on my feeds and individual photos, so check there. But in terms of tips and techniques, now that I've told you about this personalized imagery, tips and techniques, are pretty basic. So using the back of a spoon is my favorite burnishing tool, but anything that burnishes the image on, bone folder, what have you. I like the concave sense of the spoon. I don't gouge my edges because I don't gouge my wax because the edges are curved away. And I can get good pressure. I simply burnish, rub, that is, over the surface of the imagery. Now I can just see it through this paper. So I'm only going to be deliberate about following where the image is. I don't necessarily have to cover the entire surface because my image is not over the entire surface, so I can be more deliberate about where I am burnishing. And in this burnish process, it's going to happen twice. This first burnish process is all about transferring that image to the wax. In other words, the wax is going to say, oh, hello, I see you little carbon fibers of imagery. I will grab hold of you and hold on. Truly, it says that. Yeah. But the paper is still holding on just as tight, more tightly. So the paper is saying, no, carbon image, you will stay with me. You do not get to transfer over there. So this first burnishing is transferring those carbon fibers into the particles, whatever, into the wax. And I'm really thorough. Even in this thorough covering, I might not get the entire image transfer. It just happens. It's a chance. But I appreciate that as well. I like the randomness of the design transfer. So this second burnish that I'll go back with now is with the addition of water. And that water weakens the paper, causes it to release those carbon fibers and say, okay, you can have it, wax, and let the wax keep it in full. I have never gone through this technique demonstration with the dialogue of the paper to wax and carbon fiber. This is a new dialogue for me, a first. Kind of fun. All right, so you can see the paper starts to roll away with the weakening power of that water. And voila. Is that not just delicious? So you can imagine in your own stock of photographs or images or heartfelt desired, I have to grab some paper towel, expression. You can see how this could really resonate and add just an impactful element to your creations, especially when working abstractly and, as in my case, simply. One of my motivations is, in addition to using found materials, what I have in my hand, is simplicity. I really appreciate simplicity of design right now. It's just resonating with me, although if you look at my oil work, I'm rather complex and a lot of mark making and color out there, but each medium expresses itself differently in my hand, and I appreciate that. I'm letting it happen rather than feeling like I have to have a consistent voice among the mediums. It just doesn't work that way. Anyway, so simplicity, and that really resonates with me in these pieces in terms of just this beautiful transfer of design over the simplicity of this wax color. So there you have it. That is image transfer in its most basic form. And at this point, it is an added layer, so I fuse it ever so gently with my torch or heat gun, and I can call it done, or I can continue to work wax over it. One more tip. You can see I've got a very smooth surface. That is a bonus. That is a helpful tip to start and do an image transfer over a smooth surface rather than anything that has texture, because when you're burnishing, as we were, when you're burnishing, you can see that this spoon will not drive that image, drive those carbon fibers in between any sort of valleys. It'll only adhere to the mountain parts. So the smoother the surface, the more complete and consistent your image transfer will be. All right, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day. Hope you get waxy. And I'll see you again here with more Encaustic Quickies from the Encaustic Castle. I'm Patricia Baldwin, Seggebruch. Thanks for following along.